about?
The one right over here across the street.
You know, there's a bunch of rafters and stuff.
Yeah, they're building a second story on that building.
Not on Dave Putoff's building.
No,
On
on
the
Grove
one on the
Cuts.
corner.
How are they gonna get to the upstairs? Outside
I
stairwell?
have no idea.
I wondered if they're gonna put an outside stairwell on it. Is it gonna have, what are they doing to it?
Spiral circuit.
A spiral?
I don't know.
But there's not even room for that.
An elevator. You gotta stand on it and pull on the rope.
I wondered if a rope ladder was going in
As
there.
big as that building is, by the time they put stairs in, you lost all the square
Well, that's what I was
footage.
thinking, so then I thought, well, they must be putting an outside stairwell with like an outside entrance.
So where's that big announcement? I haven't seen anything yet.
Not,
Huh?
not ready yet.
Did it fall through?
Not that I've been told. I've been told the land was sold. so.
We are live.
Okay, well, we will start then. Call the meeting to order. Start with roll call.
Okay, Espinoza. Here. Graham.
Here.
Kutil.
Here.
Jackson.
Here.
Miles.
Here.
Randall.
Here.
And Anderson is absent with notice.
Look for motion to approve tonight's agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll second.
Motion and second to approve tonight's agenda. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Look for motion to approve the minutes of the March 25th, 2025 meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and second to approve the minutes of the March 25, 2025 meeting. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Seats are empty. We'll move to Mr. Clarke.
Okay, residential, 11 open single-family house permits, and we got a submittal in the last week or so for one new twin home that'll be coming. Commercial, the city concessions building, Kyle went up there with Craig, right? And did a pre-final. You want to talk about that, or not really?
Yeah, they're just missing some outside concrete, and I think plumbing inspection was yesterday, so I'll follow up. I was ready to go.
I think there's some softball
think-
tournaments or something,
I
right?
said, I think plumbing inspection, they actually got done this morning, and there's a tournament tonight. So,
Just in the nick of time.
Yeah.
Well, plumbing inspection final, did you give them a certificate of occupancy?
A pre-final occupancy, I think. I don't want to speak for him.
Yeah, it is pretty final.
It's a safe environment, sir.
Could be a stinker.
Well,
We would not let the citizens in or employees in without being safe. Pro framing up here on North Oaks, we did a rough framing inspection on the office portion only. We'll be called for the big one later. Car wash is moving forward. You see the exterior, we're starting to close it in. Now, I think we were supposed to get plans for the C-store, right?
I have not received anything yet.
Okay.
They have indicated they wanted to build this summer, but I have not seen any plans for the.
Car wash will be done late summer. I contacted my contact to find out when my car wash was going to be done.
Your car wash, your personal car wash.
It's a block from my house.
Sweet.
I'd go about this summer to the road project.
In the school, we did approve, there was some west entrances and the landing and the handrails, still not the south yet. But we're working through that, so, okay, that's about it for the commercial.
Mr. Christensen.
Since last meeting, I had violations for missing house ID and parking on grass. Also sent out reminder letters to the dumpster and trash collectors that are approved by the city to make sure that they keep both dumpsters and trash cans out off the street. So we had one in Turtle Creek, and then throughout town, residents like to put their trash cans on the street, which can be an issue. Other than that, couple weeks I plan on resuming inspections out of the trailer court. Talking with the manager out there, we kind of held off for warmer weather, so now it's starting to get warmer out. I can pick those back up.
Does anybody know where we're at for single family last year at this time? I see Paul said 11.
I'd have to look back on
See if we're ahead or
the
behind schedule. I feel like we'd be
building permit maybe.
behind.
Because of interest rates?
Yeah, it's kind of normal.
I guess you know, rolling in March, I don't think we had very many last year as well. It always picks up in the spring though.
Okay,
I can look here real quick.
I'm just curious to see if we're ahead or behind schedule.
I mean, that wouldn't be just for 2025, that's a rolling number, that's.
That 11?
Yeah,
The rolling number that's open?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was just wondering how many, I guess we had open last year at this, in
Yeah.
April.
Oh, yeah, this is just telling me how many permits have pulled. I'd have to actually go back and look at
That's
his
okay.
report to see how many was open, but it looks like it. Looks like we had about 6 new permits pulled at the beginning of last year, January, February, March, but that didn't include what was rolled over, so.
Okay.
So the dumpsters, along that same lines, we're getting into spring and construction time. Some drive rounds and making sure that we don't have building materials and landscape materials and rock and pallets of pavers and all that stuff in the street, because that's against ordinance also, right?
Yeah. we
I'm
should
keeping
have-
an eye on one on Mont currently.
Keeping an eye on it. What are we keeping an eye on?
Well, I can't, I gotta reach out to him yet.
It's been sitting there for a week. On North Mont, the pile of rock and two pallets of pavers, been there for a week.
I'll reach out.
Huh?
I'll reach out.
Have you already reached out?
No,
You sound like you have.
no, I'm just drive by it daily.
All right.
Is it in the road?
On the side of the park.
Oh, yeah.
They're working.
But and I know some of the landscape guys have appreciated that we'll give grace. I mean, they dump rock, they're doing a landscaping project, they dump the rock out in the morning,
Yeah.
they get it all scooped up and it's back in the yard.
Yeah, as long as
But-
they can get in the deer.
And I realize that these guys, we had rain, and they got the stuff there, we're working on the project, and they had rain and everything, but a pile of rock is one thing, a pallet of pavers, somebody comes down that street and hits those, it's not gonna be a pretty sight. And yeah, they have 2 orange cones.
Oh, I still got the orange cone.
At least I got the orange
I
cones.
mean,
I know from personal experience, a lot of these guys won't deliver material in somebody's driveway with fear of cracking the driveway, so. I mean, I get it, there's an ordinance on it, but at the same time, I gotta be a little, have a little leeway.
And I say, I'm with that, and I think it's great that we'll, they get materials in, and
yeah.
they're working on the project, it's fine. But
As long as they don't prolong it.
yeah, I mean, we're sitting there for a week. And we've had construction sites that we've had rafters and lumber sitting sitting out there for a week or 2 weeks, sitting on the street also. Yeah, and I know the guys don't want to crack the driveways, but them and their bobcats are kind of hard on our street too. We get trying to clean all that up and they're
That's why we don't
scraping, and
like
there goes all our micro seal or slurry seal that's been put on that street's gone when they're gone. So,
Speaking of, when they, this is just a personal thing, when they slap that stuff on the bike path, the,
slurry seal?
yeah, it got on my concrete.
Uh-huh.
Was I supposed to be able to say anything about that, or that's just okay that they slopped it across my concrete?
Well, I'm assuming the bike path that's in the boulevard, and so part of your driveway is the boulevard, so.
It's actually in the
In
city.
the city
so it's not
property.
really your driveway.
I mean, really?
You'd think they do a little bit,
It's just
yeah,
frickin'
try to be
sloppy.
careful and do it, yeah.
It looks like hell now. And of course, I'm Keely and I don't ever say anything, because that's just what I am, but in case you don't know, people can
Yeah,
walk
you'd hope
over
they do
me.
a decent job, and not half-assed.
Yeah, good to know. People know they can walk all over.
And we're putting that,
And you could tell that at that time I was divorced, because my ex would have blown a gasket, but yeah, there's a big old slop across the end of my concrete. It looks really great.
All right.
Can you take anything, does anything take it off? I mean, I could go out there and try to take it off, but I doubt if anything takes it off.
You know, eventually wear it, but I don't know if there's anything.
I don't think it's gonna take off.
I don't think it would work well. I was gonna say, your boys could get their cars out there and spin the tires, it would probably rub it off, but.
Don't even recommend that, because
It'll just
I'm sure
replace-
they'd be all for that.
Replace one black mark with another black mark.
Yeah.
Heating a scraper,
Yeah.
really, you got to heat it up.
Can you see me
Yeah.
out there with
Well, I'm just saying.
Where they've had to
Oh, the Espinoza
correct
gals lost their
mistakes,
mind.
it takes to heat it up, and yeah, you have
You
to
gotta, you
scrape
gotta heat it up and scrape it.
intensely, yeah.
That would be recommended for me, I'd be like,
Stacy
burn
He wants
myself,
to go drink.
burn myself for sure. Oh, that's right. There's some kind of drinking
Right.
going on.
All right, well, let's move to our 7:05 public hearing since it's 7:10. Teresa, you want to give a quick staff report?
So in your packet, at the last meeting, we talked about, we've incorporated a new residential high-density district. In our last meeting, we talked about incorporating changes to twin homes and multifamily in order basically to accommodate higher density development across the board. When we originally enacted the zoning, we just did it for Z lots and single families, and we left twin homes and multifamily the same. But, after discussion at our last meeting, like I said, in order to accommodate higher density for all types of development, we decided that we're gonna look at doing it looking at different lot sizes and lot widths for the twin homes and the multifamily. As you see from your packet, I did go out and I look at what other cities around our region basically have incorporated into their high density for multifamily and twin housing. I put that in your packet. After I gathered this information, I shared it with Tony and just reached out to him to get a little bit of his input. I believe we're both on the same page. We're okay with changing the lot area and the lot width, These will be minimum requirements. If a developer can build something within that minimum, that's up to them. If they think they can build something small enough and sell it, they can always go larger, whatnot. Our biggest thing was, don't change the setbacks, though. That way we ensure that there's adequate distance between buildings, and it also isn't encroaching on the neighboring properties. So what is in your packet for the ordinance, the suggested change is, like I said, on two-family dwellings, the suggested change is for the lot area to 6,000 square feet. And like I said, this is the minimum. Like I said, they can always make them larger. And the lot width 60 feet. And that was just kind of looking at what other cities have incorporated. And then the multifamily, I'm suggesting to look at doing 3,000 square feet per dwelling. So if you had a three-family, they need 9,000. Four-family unit, you need 12,000. And then that lot width being 75 feet. Once again, we're keeping the setbacks all the same of what we currently have. Like I said, that will hopefully ensure, proper distance between the buildings. So that's what we're here to discuss and get your thoughts on.
What was the lot area of Junk's that he had?
Well, he has a lot, because those are way deep.
So what was the area on each, do you remember?
So he has the lot area somewhere,
So he really,
12,000.
So he was like at that
He
12 or
way
13,000.
exceeds it.
So
And
if-
then suggested lot width, too, for his twin home, we're suggesting 60. He had 75 as his minimum.
So, but then what I'm thinking is, in this case, he could actually now, if you changed it to this, he could double the amount he could build.
Couldn't double the amount.
I think
You
he
might be
could-
able to add one more lot.
You
Maybe
might be able to add one more house in there.
If the size of his houses will fit the setbacks. It all
Because
depends
you're
on
talking
how
the
wide their
minimum
house
lot
is.
square footage, you got it down to
Right.
6,000.
But,
Those lots were 121 feet deep, I think.
so Teresa and I discussed this quite a bit, because my concern was that lot width, but also the area.
Yeah.
But you start to think about it and you say, okay, if I've got a 60-foot lot, I mean,
My
basically.
point was, I wanted to make sure that now he couldn't come in and really double them and.
No,
Okay.
you won't be able to double, because
Okay.
you would only pick up 15 feet a lot. So it would take 4 lots for
I'm thinking
75.
lengthwise. I mean, not, I'm not talking width.
He won't have a driveway to, he's still gotta go.
Because then he could have a driveway between them, though.
There's not enough room,
You don't
There's
have
still not
enough
enough
room.
room.
not
Okay.
enough room on the
No.
backside.
He'll still
Okay.
have to keep the driveway on the south side, and yeah, he won't
Okay.
be able to go between them.
Okay,
I mean-
because I was worried that you went down too low with overall lot area.
I see what you're saying there, is if you put the driveway in the middle rather than on the south side.
Right.
Then all of a sudden, he can put double the amount of
Does
houses.
does he have enough? But I don't,
And I'm just using him as a case that,
So if you went with 6,000 square feet, those were 121 feet wide, if my memory calls me right.
100,
Or long,
121
I wish I had
long.
just about 50 feet
I
wide,
wish
You have your email,
50 feet wide.
and your picture in the email.
oh yeah, I did have a picture in the email. Just was
But,
worried
yeah,
that-
where I was thinking on this is, I mean, the minimum, we give a minimum, but they still got to figure out how to make it fit.
Sure,
So
but
if
he
you've
doesn't have
got,
much of it. The house was, it's a two-story, so it's not very deep.
right, but they're still deep,
They're not
The
wide.
houses aren't,
but they're not wide.
they're still not very deep,
They're probably deeper than a normal house is.
30 or 40 feet maybe. And
Well-
then 25, 25, that's 50, 90. Yeah. And the 25 is off the center of
He was
the road.
proposing 75 by 171 deep.
They were what?
He was proposing 75 feet
Yeah,
wide.
but he was
by
gonna have a lot of
171.
yard, you know, a lot
In
of
the
it was-
backyard, sure,
Yep,
yep.
Sure,
By 171 deep?
121,
Yes,
171?
Okay.
yes. But that includes having that private drive on the south
but the
side.
That
drive would,
includes
but the
the
drive
private-
would
That
be
includes the
shared.
private.
Yeah, but the drive would be shared.
And the driveway's
between
shared,
both of
yes,
them.
it's like,
Right, but so
that's
it's,
the entire lot all the way from the
75 by
driveway.
171 is what you drew here on these ones.
171.
And that gives you the 25, 20.
okay, so you
What
just
is-
run your numbers.
Oh, and there's, the setbacks are, the front is on Western and the other one there, what are the setbacks on the backs?
Well, you have,
But you
So
have,
these would be individual lots, and
25s,
it would go
25s.
off of the driveway.
won't,
So they lose
won't work.
50, 50, so it won't,
Still
okay.
won't work.
We did
Because-
that,
Yeah, because you got front yard, backyard, 25 either side, that's 50 times 2 is 100.
well, if his houses were only 35 deep, he could do it.
But he's got a driveway, he's got a street to put in the middle of it. somewhere.
But that's,
And
they got 50 feet though between the houses.
Yeah, the setback still has to go, it has to set back off the private street.
Oh, no, he doesn't have to do a setback in the middle, if he, he's only got,
He's
would he have to do a
gonna make these
setback?
individual lots.
Oh, then he'd have to
He's
split
gonna
the
plat them
lots.
into individual lots.
He would have to split the lots.
Right.
Okay,
But even,
Okay,
We're
even
not
if you
keeping it
didn't,
one big lot.
right, then we'd have to give him a variance to split the lots, and he wouldn't be able to do that probably.
well, you still, the setback still, it doesn't matter if it's a private street or a public street.
Exactly,
The
it's from
setback
the
is still
street.
from,
The street
I
would be
was
his
picturing
frontage.
him putting another property line down the middle, running the road down the middle, and then setting houses on each
Right.
side of that.
but he still has to set back off that street down the middle.
Right,
right.
but then that
So
was,
now
that would
that's
still
taking
allow him
more room
71
from him.
feet for houses, which is
Right.
35 foot 6 inches a house.
If you put it
It's
down the middle,
doable,
that
but
take,
we would have to approve him to be able to split that into 14 lots instead of 7
No,
lots.
we don't approve that, that's just a replating as long as the plat meets our stuff.
He would have tiny, tiny, tiny
I was gonna
backyards
say-
if he did that, Keely.
Right, he would.
because he'd
There's
still
no
have
way-
to
'cause it's still
incorporate
only-
double the setbacks now,
Yeah.
and you would be very.
Your biggest
small.
lot was 171 deep
Yeah,
that you have drawn out on here.
he could do it, but I doubt he
He
would.
could do it, but
he
man,
could
those
do it.
yards in between those, I mean, especially if the driveway's in the middle, then the backyards are just tiny.
Yeah, they'd be like 25 feet.
Nobody's gonna buy that house. He's
Okay.
better off doing
Okay.
similar to what you have
Okay.
here, keep it the way you have it, except that he's gaining
Okay.
potentially that extra 15 feet per house if he goes all the way down to 60. Makes a pretty small driveway
And
though.
then
Well,
75
But small
by,
front.
The lot
There's-
is still be about 85 feet long.
what's 75
For
by,
sure.
what's 75 by 70? Is
But-
that 6,000 square feet?
75 by what?
70.
75 by 170 is 12,790, 750 is what you have on
So
here.
half of that, he could do it if he was not wanting to sell them.
Well, no, he can't because the street is part of that 171 feet.
Yeah.
No, it's
Yes.
not.
She does not
But
have
it's a
that as
private
part of
road.
this.
Doesn't make any difference, you still got to set back from, doesn't matter if it's a private road
Or a
or
public.
a
It's
public
the
road, you
street
still got to
frontage.
have
Doesn't define whether it's public or private.
Yes, but there, we got that figured in here. If he still wanted to build a 35-foot depth house, he'd have a 25-foot setback, his 35-foot house, and a 25-foot setback on each lot. He could do it. It wouldn't be smart, probably.
No, and with his design, it didn't sound like he would,
25 and 25 is 50. 8 and 35 for the house makes it 85. 85 times 2 is 170.
What was it, 171 you said?
that's
So
like.
then you don't have room for the street.
There's no room for a street.
Right.
The street is within the 25-foot setback.
No.
No,
No.
Which is what you drew that in this, which we didn't really talk about, but
Oh, the
yeah.
private drive can't be in the 25-foot setback?
No.
No,
it's
it's not
gonna,
part of it.
in these situations, we're gonna have it from the street, then counter 25 feet to the house.
Basically from the curb
Yeah.
in.
And the curb in.
Okay.
And because the street more than likely is not gonna be left in, he's gonna set up an HOA or something to take care of the street.
Okay.
Because otherwise, every property owner would have their part of the street to take care of.
Yeah.
That would be a
Okay,
disaster.
all right. Okay.
And
I just
the
wanted to make
other,
sure.
the other side of that is with the 60-foot lots, and Teresa and I started thinking about this, and I went, again, to the dimensions. If you got 14 feet on 60, now you're down to 46 feet.
Right. I was thinking that
For the
since it
width-
was a private drive, it would just be
For the
included
width,
with
for the width
the
of
setback.
of twin homes, you got a twin home that's only about 22 feet wide.
You're right, because I wasn't thinking about that either. You got the 14 feet in between each house, the 7 feet on either side.
Correct.
It's eating up some of that 60 feet.
It's eating it up, so I don't
That's a good call
foresee anybody trying to put a twin home on a 60-foot lot.
No. I mean,
But
it's like,
some of
put
our,
a trailer house on there, I mean, that would be
Yeah.
what it would look like, just long and narrow.
in some of the other communities, we've got a couple of them that they're down at 50 feet in their regulations.
Yep.
I read that too.
But, and that's what,
Yeah, most of them are.
that's what tripped my brain to
Well,
going.
that's when they do those side entry, like your mother-in-law has, you said, when you enter from the side.
Right, your front door is on
You're
the side
looking
of the
at the
house, yeah.
neighbor's front door and,
But that's where it got
Yeah.
my mind tripping on the fact is, it'd be about impossible to
Okay.
get something in that size
okay,
lot.
okay.
I think your head was in the right place, I just think.
Yes,
the
you just
map-
go- you just
Like
go-
you said, you can't visualize it, so you're trying to do.
I was
gotta go
picturing
up.
I was really picturing that the private drive was going to be
You only have
within that
20.
setback.
When Bernadine Place went in up above, we made them measure from the curb line of 25.
Okay,
Because
then
we
we're
didn't
good.
want that included in the
Then
setback.
we're good. I just didn't want somebody to.
Because that was a shared drive.
What's that?
It would
What's
have
that?
been part of the HOA and not part of their
It's
property.
really an important discussion we're having. You guys seem to be a
I think
little
if
rushed
you-
over here.
If you took this home, and you put those houses
Let's go with it.
end to end, you'll see those, there's not much yard once you start
Right,
figuring in your
right.
setbacks.
And I wasn't even thinking
Yeah.
he would do that, but I'm thinking some other developer that
Well,
wants to
yeah.
maximize his profits and
Right.
It's the
get
same as
over
what
on
they got
us.
over there.
I'm just thinking of jerks in the world.
Well,
Nielsen's?
you're not wrong.
Not exactly the same, but.
Like I said, your head's a lot.
Like this thing on the corner, whatever they're building with this two-story thing, but I can't even imagine where they're gonna put the stairs in it, but yeah,
Right.
yeah. A fire pole maybe. Is it gonna be the fire station?
Yes,
It's gonna have a
okay.
fire pole.
So when you talk about the changes on as far as the possible action, that's these changes that you have in red here.
Yes, I'm proposing these changes
Okay.
that are shown in red. Now, like I said, you guys.
Okay, I make a
can
motion
amend
that
it.
we approve this ordinance as written with the new dimensions.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Do we have any further discussion?
I'd like to talk about this for about 25 more minutes, if we can do that.
And then talk about pools.
Take it to that if you want.
Before we take a vote.
They're so glad I came around, I can tell.
I'm good with
Yeah, I'm good.
All right. We have a motion and a second to approve ordinance
763.
763. Changes as proposed. Miles,
Yes.
Jackson,
Yes.
Espinoza,
Yes.
Kutil.
Yes.
What's the, oh, Graham.
Abstain. Yes.
Teresa, who printed this? I nearly had to get my magnifying glass out too.
Oh, he sends it to me. I wish it was bigger.
Teresa, do you have anything to add to your report?
Really?
I don't have anything to add on reports, give you some updates unless you have questions. Did you? So I don't know if you have any questions. I do have one thing to bring up. Dave Larson, let's see what I got. He is looking at the property at 402, it would be 402 West 4th Street. I only printed a couple copies for you guys. Basically, right now, it has, it used to be 2 lots, but then, and now it's plotted as 1. The house sits more on the south side of the lot, and then it has a shed in the bigger, larger backyard. He has somebody who's interested in the property and wants to know if they can split it off. I talked to him today, I said, once again, if you can meet all the setbacks once you split it with, I don't know what size house they want to put in there, but as long as they can meet the, split it with the house, already has the front and the side yard setbacks, you'd have to have a 15-foot setback in the back for a corner lot. Then on the north side, you'd have to have another 7 feet on the north and the south for the north lot, and then the 25 front and back. So as long as he can meet those setbacks, or with whatever size building they want to put in, and I think they have quite a bit of room there, they could do that. I guess he just basically wanted me to ask you guys if you guys have any concern about splitting that off and having another home put in there. Right across from the pool, if you can picture where it is.
As long
It's right across from the pool.
Yep.
Doc Eldridge's old house,
This-
and then they want to put it on the
Yes,
back.
Doc Aldridge's old house, yep.
This would be my personal opinion and the answer to Dave. As long as they can meet all the setbacks without a variance, we got nothing to say about it.
Right, exactly, I said.
But don't be waltzing in here after the fact asking for
Wanting
variances.
Right.
So,
I think what he's asking on like 402 to the north. Do you have 402 on your map? Yeah.
yep, it
Yes.
says on the map, yep.
Interestingly enough, this predates, I think, every one of you but me.
No, not me.
Well, no, what I'm gonna say does.
I doubt it.
There's the house that went into the north there was a Western housing
Yes,
manufactured home. And they came to this board and wanted a 0 lot line variance because there was this house they wanted to buy that was on sale that they could get a really good deal, but it was too long to fit on that lot. And they wanted to go 0 variance, and at that time, we denied them. And the main reason was, we're not gonna let you put a house on the property line because what if somebody wants to build something on the other side?
Yeah,
So if you come off
something like this ever
402,
happened, yeah.
Yeah,
402 to the north,
yep.
and you got 15 feet there, right?
Well, where's the lot line then? Where would the
Well,
lot
right now,
line
that's,
end?
so,
If it was a lot line here, is it directly in
So
the
here's-
middle?
So you have to
Yeah,
have
so say
7
it's
feet off
there.
a lot line, right?
Okay,
So
so
you
you're in the
So-
middle.
yeah, so
This-
you
Side
got,
draw on
yards,
this?
side yards.
Yeah.
So
this,
you-
this addresses to
That.
4th Street.
Yep.
Yep.
So it's 25 setback here.
Yep.
25 setback here,
he's got 15.
7 setback there, and
This is
because it's a corner
side
lot,
yard.
this is 15 feet on this
Yeah.
side. Then if they're gonna put something here, it's 25 here, 25 here, 7 here, and 7 here.
I think what they're wondering is if this can be 15.
Can they get
It
this
should
into
be able to be, because
15?
it should be 7 and 7.
No, because that's backyard, it's gonna be 25.
But not if you put the house there, it'll be a side yard.
No,
No, so this can be 15.
That's
because
all right.
Because this would be a
That's-
corner lot.
That's why I'm confused.
So
No,
the
no.
regulations.
Why wouldn't that be a
corner
side
lots
yard?
have
Because
a
he's gonna have an
15
address off here now.
foot backyard,
they can.
yep.
I thought it was 15-foot side yard.
25, so rear yard, I'm reading right from the single family, 25 feet rear yard or 15 feet on corner lots.
Oh, because that's that guy's backyard, though. You're
So
right,
like the
that's
one
his-
to the north would have to have a 25 foot, because that's not a corner lot.
Right.
But this corner lot could have 15.
So this
Just like we allow the exception for
Another
the
7.
20 feet on corner
Then
lots
you could pretty much
I
have.
think- I
for
think-
side yards.
I'm just going back to what I said, the bottom line answer to
Oh,
Dave
he only
is,
has to have 15 back here
Is it
because
That's what
he's a
Dave's
corner
wondering.
lot.
That's what Dave's wondering.
Well-
That guy can have on the north end of his house,
Well-
15 feet.
if it fits, my answer to Dave is,
Yeah, well, he's
As long
just
as it
asking for
fits-
clarification on
Well, she's the
that.
lady that gives him clarification, not us.
That's the
She's
way
his
our
own
ordinance
division.
reads.
Yeah.
On corner lots, which this is a corner lot, this, it
402
will
is,
be, once you
yes.
split it, it'll still
Correct.
be a corner
Either way,
lot.
it's gonna be a corner
He
lot,
can have
yeah.
a 15-foot rear yard.
Rear
Yeah.
yard.
He's just
And
gonna
then
have from the
7 foot off
15 foot,
that
7
because
foot
it's
off
side
that.
yard.
Is gonna be the
and
side
7
yard of
foot
the
off
other
the
lot.
house to the north.
Yep,
So he's
7,
gotta come 22 off the back of Doc Aldridge's old house.
Is
Right.
essentially would be where he
Exactly,
could start
yes,
digging.
before our house.
Yes,
those are minimums.
minimums, yeah.
So 22 off the back of that house.
Yeah, that's where he could start digging.
Because this would be 7 for this house, but he has to have 25 back here and 25 up here.
Correct.
Yes.
You got it. Yeah.
Okay.
And then 7 off the manufactured home.
It's a big enough lot, I don't see it being.
It just has to be long.
And it originally was 2 lots
Right.
originally platted. I looked at old maps and
I mean, I could see why.
somewhere along the line it came in 1,
You
but.
know, if they put a shed back there and like,
Well, if they wanted to put shed back there, they had to make it 1 because you can't put an accessory building on a lot that doesn't
And
have a
then,
primary.
that's probably what happened, is when the shed went up, it
Right.
probably became 1 at that time, because you couldn't do it.
Back then,
And if he
fine.
splits it off, that shed's gotta be removed.
That was a
Unless it's
long
really
time
time
ago.
ago.
I was
What's
just a
that?
wee
If
one
it
back
gets split
then.
into 2, the
Yeah.
shed needs to be removed.
yeah, which I'm sure.
Unless, you know, you pull a permit for the house.
Yeah, which I'm guessing that's.
It wouldn't
what
have,
happened.
that shed wouldn't have to be removed.
I would say no, unless you pull a permit, I'm just saying it
Yeah.
can't sit there and
Right.
not have something built
4
on
years
it.
later, there's still
Right,
a
yeah,
shed
yeah,
there
yeah,
and
yeah.
it's
Yeah.
its
I
own
mean,
lot.
if
But
it
if
works,
somebody's
then
buying
they
it,
can.
building the permit, as long as they can meet their setback from their shed to their house.
Yep, the distance between that,
distances
as long as they
between
can meet all the regulations.
Is there anybody in the dwelling right now? You
Yes.
know, is
I
it?
don't know if there's somebody living there or not, is there?
I think there is.
I don't.
I was gonna say, it'd be nice to stake it out and actually see it staked out to understand it. Like, that's what Dave needs to do, is walk it.
It's not much different than the last we just approved on the
Right.
ADJ lots.
Right,
I say that,
yeah.
it's not our place to sit here and try to, and try
Yeah, he
to
was
do
just
the,
asking for clarification.
to do his
on the corner lot.
engineer's job. He just needs, and Teresa can give him all the clarification he needs.
So I think we're good.
And-
Well, we're good, that's what they are, and it's up to them. if they
Like I
want to
say,
vote.
they just gotta meet the
Yeah.
setbacks and
Yeah.
whatever they put in there.
Okay.
And just don't come for variance.
Probably not gonna get approved.
It's your turn.
Oh, I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion and a second.
Is that what you guys
to
wanted to hear down
Can we
there?
discuss that?
adjourn? No, it's not discussable. That motion is not discussable.
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting adjourned.
Yay. I'm gonna send your wife a note. She always wants me to send you a text about grass.
I thought we were on